Okay, so welcome to M Crew Zoom Sunday night, best night ever. Okay, first thing to write down, June 7th at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time is our corporate call. And it is in the One Voice Facebook group. So I'll say that again, June 7th, 5 p.m. Or I guess I should start with Pacific time because Lisa's over there on Pacific time. 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Okay, June 7th. New leader conference is this weekend, which me and Tara, we're going to be there in Provo, Utah. So I'm not going to do an M Crew Zoom next Sunday. So unless if you guys want to pop on and connect, you can, but I am not going to host one. But me and Tara will give you all of our goods when we get back. And then last thing to write down is June 15th. There is the middle of the month promotion that the company does. And if you were on the Zoom call a few nights ago, Wes told us what it was. 10% off site-wide. And so that's going to be huge. Like, obviously don't talk about it yet, but it's going to be 10% off site-wide. And that's going to be really, really good for this 5-day drop. And then on the 15th, they're also doing the follow-up call to the 5-day drop where we're going to invite all of our customers, all of our potentials to be on and listen. There's going to be results. There's going to be cash money giveaways for anybody who's ordered it. And so that's going to be June 15th. I'm assuming in the evening, more information will come, but if you can, kind of block that out in your calendar, because that is going to be a really good way to get your fence sitters off and to be able to really fire up the people who you did get in the system to maybe do the business with you, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can make $500. I can, share this with 5 people. I can make money doing this. And then they can also, feel more confident inviting their friends. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, we are going to dive right in, because if this doesn't need to go an hour, it doesn't have to go an hour, but I'm really excited. Most of you guys know that Tanya is the one that I enrolled with. I was just searching on YouTube like 4 years ago, how to grow a successful business, how to generate new leads, how to do all of the things. And her videos just kept popping up. And what I loved most about what Tanya always had to offer is she always gave away a freebie. Like, she always gave away like a free guide or a free resource or like step-by-step of how to do things. And it was valuable. And I didn't have to pay for it, right? Like it's like sometimes people just give you like a little snippet and you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't do anything with that. But like, she gave me like the whole package, the whole real deal. And I would follow it and I would do it and I'd follow it and I'd do it and I'd get more. And after I went through all of her free stuff, then I was like, now I got to invest a little bit because I want more. Like I want to get better. And so I enrolled in one of her programs, and this was right before COVID. And part of the program was that I got to go to North Carolina and like meet her and have like a mastermind. And I was like so excited. And then COVID happened. And so we couldn't do it. And so it was all online and virtually. And I was obviously with It Works then. And even then, she still did Zoom calls for me with It Works. Was anybody on that when we had her on? I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, so she still even did a Zoom call, even without being in the same company. And anyway, when things changed with It Works, I started looking for a new company, reached out to Tanya. And so Tanya is our upline and the person who really made me believe that like this was the right company. And so I'm really excited to have her on here. For those of you that don't know, she's a multimillionaire and really, really good at what she does. And so she messaged me the other day and was like, hey, like, what do you need from me? And I was like, it'd be really awesome to have you on a team call, starting us out in the summer, because sometimes the summertime schedules change. We don't work as effectively as we can because the sun is shining and, other things sometimes come up, but you can still build a successful business in the summertime. And so I just wanted her to come and give us all of her tips and everything like that. But first, I want you to start at the very beginning, maybe share a little bit of your story, because ultimately you had to go to facebook.com and click create a new account. Like you had to start at 0, at nothing. And so Do you want to just kind of share your business journey a little bit?
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me. This is so fun. So just so you guys know, I'm like, as everybody should be, I'm so diligent with my time, and my non-negotiable is I don't work on the weekends, but I'm here because I love Tamika so much. And Ricky and I just got off the boat and we were paddleboarding a little bit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do my hair. And then I was like, no, this is Tamika's crew. We're like family, boat hair don't care. So I'm excited to be with you guys. You guys have an incredible leader with Tamika. I am blessed and honored. She says all these great things about me, but she is an incredible servant soul. As you guys know, I'm preaching to the choir, but it's really cool when you put yourself out there and you're able to attract people like Tamika. How many people would like want a Tamika on their team? Like, that's pretty cool, right? Everyone should be like, heck to the yes, right? So I want to share, I'll share a little bit about my journey and some of the things that I think helped me the most in my journey. And then I'd love to share with you guys. I was trying to think about some of the best things that I could give you guys. Yes, going into summer, but not just going into summer, going into forever with your guys' business, because the work that I do today, I like to make sure that whatever it is can serve me for years into the future, if not decades. And this is the beautiful opportunity that we have with network marketing, is that it's a residual business plan for us that we can definitely embrace and do something with. And it's so cool. But we also have to be thinking about the thing that leads into that, which is the efforts. So are we putting out residual efforts? And I think that's something that not a lot of people talk about, but I really wish that they did, because it's a completely separate mindset that I wish I would have had earlier. So thanks, Tamika, for having me. I'm so blessed and honored to be here. Your team and crew is amazing. You're a great leader, and I'm honored to work with you. So I actually got started in the profession of network marketing in 2009. So I'm an old soul. I was actually going for social media, going to living room to living room and flipping a flip chart. If you guys can remember those old school days, if you don't, good. um, then social media came about, and before network marketing, I was in finance. So I was always really good with numbers, and I always had this thing for business. And that was the thing I went to school for. I never finished school, but I went to school for it. And I just wanted to make money. Like, when I came out, I was like, I want to make money. I want to do the best that I can, because I grew up from a household with my family. My mom always told my sister and I, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. And I was like, I never want to get older and bring that into like my family, or even be in that situation where I look at something and I really want it and I have to say I can't afford it. And that probably as a kid was the best thing that ever happened to me, because what it did is it put this like fire in me. People always ask, like, where did you get the entrepreneur spirit? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, there was just this fire in me saying, I want more. I don't want to grow up and have kids and, have a family where we can't afford it. I want to be able to say we can, not we can't. So as a finance manager, I had my girlfriend, Michelle, share network marketing with me, and it was actually perfect timing. So if you guys have professionals that are overworked right now, or maybe you think they're really successful and they might not be interested, and maybe you're a little bit scared to approach these people, I'm going to say they're your best people to approach. So I'm grateful that my girlfriend, Michelle, didn't see me, because on the outside, and nobody knows what's ever going on the inside. So on the outside, I was very successful. And, in my early 20s, kind of mid 20s, 6-figure job, nice house, nice car. She had the courage to come up to me and say, hey, do you want to meet some people? Something crossed my plate and got me really excited. I thought about you. I would love to work with you if there's an opportunity. Could I invite you over to meet some people? And I got the opportunity to be exposed to network marketing with that exact invite. And I humbled myself because she was a really good friend. And I went over and I met some people, and these people were actually Michelle's uplines. And they said, you know, here's our story. Here's what we do. Here's the product. I fell in love with the culture and the team before the product. That was kind of my journey. And thank God they had a great product as well. So I was in a company, and that company is no longer around. They got acquired by another company, but I fell in love with the idea of network marketing because of the residual income and also the opportunity to help other people have the lifestyle that I loved to have. I was making really good money as a finance specialist, but my friends at the time were not, and they could never go and do anything. So I was like, if I could just help them make a little bit of extra money, we could have more fun, and this would be really great. Now, there's a lot of people in the world right now that when we say extra money, they're all ears, especially when we say like residual, you know, a residual income opportunity. This is what people really, really, really should be gravitating towards. So, fast forwarding from then to now, I had 4 years of trial and error of building my network marketing business before I even gained any real traction that anybody would be excited to talk about. I think the thing is I didn't quit. I was really stubborn and I stayed consistent on the small things. I wasn't doing anything big. Like I didn't have one of those success stories where you're like, you know, top of the company in 2 weeks. Like that really was not me. But what my journey was in those four years in network marketing before I created real success, I was just consistent with the things that actually were driving revenue. And if I look at what I was actually doing, it wasn't a whole lot. It was just a little bit of the right things. And so if you can remember that, yes, coming into summer, we love to play, we love to enjoy the weather, we love to vacation and have family time and all that. But if you could, I mean, it's easy to do, and I'd recommend doing it beyond summer. I mean, every day to build Modere to a really good check, it does not take that much, but it takes a little bit consistently of the right things. So we'll talk about what the right things are here. And maybe what we can all do is create a summertime schedule. Maybe this turns into a permanent schedule, and just stay committed to it. So when I came over into Modere, I was coming from another network marketing company like Tamika, right? And I had success there, not as much as I have in Modere. But I did have, I had a following. Like Tamika said, I had the YouTube. So when I came over to Modere, I told John Melton, who I ended up signing up with him and Nadia, I said, John, I really like the products of Modere. I've been taking them for a while. I'm looking for a new home, and I'd love for it to be here. I said, but I need a business because I have my coaching business, my marketing business. I said, I need something that I can truly build that has systems and processes in place. And when I build this business, I want to build it, and I want to run it, and I don't want it to run me. Because my other business ran me into the ground, and I was extremely burnt out because there wasn't a lot of systems and processes or training. I had to create that all if I wanted it. So I came over to Modere, and it was a completely different process than I was used to. I didn't know what ATM was. I didn't believe ATM would work, because I was like, how can you not like physically talk to somebody? You can just do messenger chats with somebody and like have them sign up into a business with you. I was like, that makes no logical sense to me whatsoever. And John's like, just trust the process and just do it. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive for 90 days. And I'm going to have, like I said to John, I said, I really want to build a good story here, but I want to do it in a way where it's duplicatable, because I don't want anybody to come to me and say, well, sure, you had all this success because you had a bunch of YouTube subscribers or a big email list or whatever, I didn't want any of that. I wanted to really build in a way where I was I was doing it in a duplicatable way. And I could say, hey, here's what I did. And I know that you can do the same, whether you have 0 followers or a brand new Facebook account that just started yesterday. Here's what you can do. And here's the roadmap. So I told John, I said, okay, I'm going to follow this ATM thing that you have going on. I'll see if it works. I chuckled. I still didn't even believe it was going to work. And I said, and I'm going to follow your end life training that you guys have, because that's what I'm going to really be plugging all of my people into. Because again, I want to follow a system, because I know that systems works. I run a multi-million-dollar coaching business that's run off of systems. And the systems are what allow us to do this without burning out. So what I ended up doing is I said, I'm going to go on this elite run. So number one, you have to make a goal and have some sort of a target that you want to shoot for. Because if you don't have that, couple things, it's not going to happen, because we're not focusing on what we're attracting. So you have to have that goal. And whether it be, for me, it was the builder side of the comp plan with Modere, because that's what most of my audience was coming to me for. They wanted to learn how to build extra income, build a side hustle. So for me, and so whatever it is for you, if you guys have like a rank advancement on the customer side, on the promoter side, then put that in there. If you have one on the social marketer side, put one in there. If you have one for both, put it in there as well. And so for me, I said, John, what's the, a good top level of the company? He says elite. And I said, well, what's elite? And he said, it's 100,000 organizational volume points. And of course, there's other nuances like 5 team leader legs, whatever. But I was just like, I don't care about all that. I'm just going to focus on 100,000 points organizational volume. That is my target. Like I'm going, whether I have to do all the 100,000 or I'm going to be able to find people that'll help me get there. I'm going to just focus on what I can control and my activity. And you guys, again, I'm busy. Like I did not have a lot of extra time, but what I did is I set the goal and then I made the commitment. So for me, my commitment was, and again, your commitment's going to match your goal. So if you have a smaller goal than elite, you don't necessarily have to put in maybe as much work or commit to as much as you would if you're going like me, if I was going to elite. So match the commitment to the goal. That would be like the biggest tip, right? So for me, I said, okay, well, I have an hour a day that I can carve out. And I'm going to do 30 minutes in the morning before I have to start my regular work. And then I'm going to do a 30 minutes at night. And I'm just going to, carve out that time and I'm going to do it. And so inside of those 30 minutes, my goal, because the thing that you can control in Modere, you can control your exposures. And that's about it. Like you can't control if somebody's going to buy something or not. You can't control if somebody's going to sign up or not. You can't control if even the people that sign up are going to do anything or not. You can't really control those things, but the things that we can control are our exposures. Like how many people a day are we properly sharing the products or properly sharing the business opportunity? And so for me, I was like, I'm just going to focus on getting 3 to 5 exposures a day. And I'm going to do that for the next 90 days. And I asked John and I said, do you think if I do 3 to 5 exposures a day properly, that would equate to elite in 90 days? Like, is that a good goal? And he's like, yeah, go for it. He's like, I'd focus closer to 5, but just go. Right. And I was like, all right, cool. I said, I actually sent him in the mail these sweatbands from Amazon. They were hot pink. And so they, the sweatbands that you wear and on the wrist too for sweating, of course, they're sweatbands. I said, John, get ready to run because I was using him in chats. All right. So again, here's the thing. If you're not using your leadership sideline, whatever, doesn't matter. If you're not using somebody to help you with those chats, it's hard to say that we're going to create a lot of success. And I know there's so many people there that like, I have these same people like in my personal team too, where like, I see them and they're driving and they're doing really well, but they're struggling. And I'm like, just put me in chats. And they're like, for some reason, there's some hesitation. I don't know what it is. People feel like I can do this all on my own. I don't need your help. Or maybe they're thinking Tanya's too busy, but I was like, put me in your dang chat. Like, let's go. So anyways, I was putting people in chats with John all the time, and I was putting people in the social retail group. Back then it was a different group, and then John broke off and they have their group now for the ATM. But I would put people in and I would tag them on the videos, put people in, tag them on the videos. So I would do a couple of those in the morning because my timer would literally go off. It would be like half an hour start, half an hour stop. Okay. And I would just track everybody on a little Google sheet. And I would have like that, say I had talked to Tamika Jones, and I would be like, Tamika Jones. And then I'd be like, talk to on Messenger, might be interested, need to follow up later, or whatever, started conversation. Sometimes it would be like put in social retail live group, or whatever the case may be. I'd be like, wherever that person was in the process. I just do as much as I could. Those are my money-making activities. Start conversation with intent to talk business, and then put them in, ask if they're open, put them in. So I would do that, and I would put little notes beside everybody's name, and then my timer would go off and 30 minutes would be done. And I go, okay, I've got to shut it down, get into my other workday. And then at night, what I would do is I just pull out that Google sheet and I just see where I left off. And I was like, oh, okay, I put Tamika in the social retail group or the Live Clean group, whatever group it was. I need to follow up with her. So I go into my messenger, I'd pull up that message back up and I say, hey, Tamika, did you have a chance to, go through the information that I tagged you into the group? And then waiting for her to say, yes, Kate, next person. And I would just tag like my list all day. I was just working that spreadsheet like mad woman. And I was like, I need to get 3 to 5 exposures a day, 3 to 5 exposures a day, 3 to 5 exposures a day. And what I ended up doing was I didn't hit the goal of elite in 90 days, but it was elite in, I think it was 102 or 121. I can't remember, but I did it. So it wasn't too bad. And we ended up, but here's what happened with that momentum, you guys. That created a foundation for my Modere business that created a side income of multiple 6-figure side income with Modere as a part of what I'm doing, with working 30 minutes on the right income activities in the morning and 30 minutes on the right income activities in the evening. And when you do that, these are literally some of the most powerful things that you can do, especially with Modere, because Modere is such a cool company in a way that when you get somebody in, they take care of a lot of the marketing and upselling for us. I've never seen a company, and you guys have seen a lot of companies. I've trained a lot of network marketing leaders, and I've never seen a company market the way that Modere does for us on the back end, and we don't have to pay for any of that. That's all done on behalf of them for us, which is really cool. So Kayla asked a good question. What are some things you personally talk about in 3-way chats? So personally for me, a 3-way chat is to show off just our team, like people to feel supported. They feel like, okay, it's not just 2 people here in conversation. The mission of Modere is bigger than just this little bubble. So I typically just come in and it's a really quick, hey, what's going on? I'll edify whoever is sharing. So if Tamika's throwing me in a 3-way chat and Tamika introduces me, I'm going to say something like, hey, Kayla, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I'm so happy to meet you. Tamika is amazing, as you probably already know, and I'm excited for you to learn more about the Modere products and the Modere system. And then I might share a 30-second blip about my experience with Modere. I'll be like, hey, I've been with Modere since 2017, building the business and sharing the products because I started taking the liquid BioCell and I became a raving fan of the results that it gave me health-wise, that I wanted to start promoting it. So I'm so excited for you to look at some of our products. And I'm also here to help answer any questions that you need help with. And so they just feel like, oh, wow, if I were to say yes to this, I have support. So, and these are more like business conversations that I'm having. Because I wanted to go elite, and that was on the builder side, right? So it's just to add support. But honestly, the 3-way chats, I'll be honest, I've been in network marketing since 2009. Did I need to put John in any chats to help me? No. I can recruit. Like, I'm a good recruiter. Like, that's something that I'm really, really good at because I've done thousands of conversations. I've sucked at a whole bunch of them to get really good. So you kind of have to go through that journey. I did not need John to help me with anything, help me close, none of that. But what I did is I put people in chats because it's psychological. It psychologically helps your prospects get over the hump of maybe whatever resistance or hump that they might have. So they see like, oh, that other people are doing this. And it also adds another third-party story that somebody else can share.
I have
So,
another question, if that's okay.
of course, yeah, that's what we're here for. This is a
Okay.
collaboration. I don't want to just talk at you. You guys can talk at me.
Okay, so getting building leadership skills. So in that aspect, and not ever doing this, what are some things like I should be saying in a three-way chat, like for my prospects? Like, if that makes sense.
Give me a scenario. We'll do a role
Right.
play. Give me a scenario.
I have none.
Then we need to have some, and then we'll have
Okay.
scenarios. Yeah. So, but honestly, when you have somebody that say you totally want to work with your friend Jen, I'm just saying names for sake of names. And you're like, how do I put Jen? I'd be like, Jen, hey, listen, something crossed my desk, got me really, really, really pumped and excited. I immediately thought of you. I think you're going to absolutely want to see what's going on. Can I steal you for 15, 20 minutes to share with you some information? Like, it can be really as simple that's for me, like, that I use, because I also tried to think about people I genuinely wanted to partner with and work with. And then, so that's kind of how my conversations went. And then what I would do is I would wait for the person to say, yeah, cool. And then I'd come back on that chat and I would say, okay, cool. I'm going to pop you into a Facebook group that we have that's really exciting. It's called Social Retail. And it has a couple of videos that I'm going to tag you in. I think you're going to absolutely love the information in there. It's what got me super excited. And you'll see a bunch of other really excited people in there too. And I'm going to share some information with you. Take 15, 20 minutes, go through the videos. And then I'm going to pop back in here and see if you have any questions, or I'm going to see what you like best. Is that cool? And then they're like, you're waiting for a yes. And then they're like, cool. Yeah. So then I put them in the group, I tag them in the videos, but then I also send them the links in the message back and I tell them exactly what I did. So I'm like, hey, I popped you in this group. This is the name of the group. This is the link. And these are the posts that I tagged you in. So I'm actually like dropping those links. And for me, because systems are key in how we run our business very efficiently. So I've saved those like auto replies in like a little notepad of mine. You guys can use whatever you use. I use Evernote, but you could even just use your notepad on your phone or whatever other fancy app that you prefer. But I have these kind of auto saved. So I'm copying and pasting, because a lot of your follow-up can be copying and pasting. And then what I do is after I've added somebody to the group and they've accepted, they see all that, I go, hey, listen, while you're watching that information, I'm going to pop my friend Tamika in on this conversation so she can share a little bit of her experience and you can hear her story, because I think it's really powerful too. And then I don't even ask them if they're okay with the three-way. I tell them, this is what we're going to be doing next. And that's what we have to remember. Like, we just have to like have that posture because we're controlling the process. So I make it fun, right? Like, I'm not just like, here's what we're doing next and we're robots and we're like militant, right? I'm like, you're going to really enjoy Tamika. It's super awesome. Like, her husband, her kids, like, you're going to really love hearing her story. And so then I start the three-way chat and then I'll edify and introduce, and I'll just say, hey, Tamika, I just popped somebody in the group and they're one of my friends and here's why I love them, or whatever the case may be, or here's why I think they're cool or whatever. So then, then you're going to have that tag team fun energy back and forth as they go through the information, as they have questions as well. And quite honestly, when you're new, like we always have to pretend that we're new again. I didn't have the answer to all of the questions that some people were going to have. So I did like having John in the group, sometimes the group chats, because I could hear how he would answer a question. And then that's the best learning for me. That's how I learned how to answer a lot of questions as well. And I'm like, ooh, that was really good. I wouldn't have known to answer it like that. So one of the things though, that we have to remember, and before I go into one last thing that I want to share, Tamika, I want to open this up because this is like your guys' call. You're here. And I want to give you guys like what you really feel that you need most, not just what I think I want to talk about. That's selfish. So let me just open it up and see where y'all are at. And if there's any specific questions that anybody has as far as, building your organization with Modere that I can add insight on. Don't everybody go all at one time, please.
I'd like you to expand a little bit more on exposures, because when you say that, 3 to 5 exposures, that you worked your business 30 minutes and 30 minutes, I mean, we're working way more than that. And so what exactly is an exposure, and how do you find the people? Because for someone to reach out to you, I mean, obviously they followed you, they felt like you'd be a good fit, but yeah.
Well, and can I just elaborate on that? Actually, I'm glad Tamika brought that up, because that was actually kind of the question I was going to ask. Not just that, but also like I know you said you're building more like your promoter side. So when you say you were talking to 5 people, is it 5 about the business then? Were you doing another 5 with about customers, or were you solely focused on, so just kind of more on that. I would love to hear.
So this is always the running joke. So these are great questions. This is the running joke that John busts my ass on all the time. And it's, I'm an elite 3 bronze, you guys. Okay. He bugs me all the time. He's like, T, just do a TikTok or do something on the product and get to platinum. You be in platinum. And he's like, we need to get you to platinum. So I told him, I said, look, my audience, like my tribe knows me for business. They come to me for business information. They're not necessarily coming to me for product information. And I show up for my tribe. And we're going to talk about this because this comes into play with how to attract the right people, right? So no, for me, my goal specifically, personally, like this was mine. You guys have your own goal and they're all right. Like whatever your goal is that you make, it's the right goal for you. So just know that. For me, it was like, I just had that. I was like elite in 90 days. Like that was my big audacious, super goal. And I was like, gotta do this. So, yeah, I'm not a good customer getter. I probably need to take some notes from Tamika on that. Yeah, I'll come to your guys' trainings. But no, my people are business people. They know to come to me for business stuff. So that is why. If I tried and I focused on customers, I could get customers, right? I'm sure. Yeah, I still go to Tamiko and say, can you help me in these chats? I don't really know. So, yeah, I'm an elite 3 bronze. So that's always the running joke. And so, for me, yeah, that goal was business people. So I'm doing legit straight up like, hey, I want to work with you. Something crossed my desk, got me super pumped and excited. It's an incredible opportunity. I love the opportunity to share. I think you might find value. I, in fact, know you probably will. And I need about 15, 20 minutes of your time. Can you carve that out for me? How soon can you do that? So I've kind of said that a lot over and over and over, but it was just kind of my go-to. So when I was in the beginning stages of building my Modere, I wasn't focused on people coming to me. I was actually going to them. And then what ends up happening is you get to a point where if you legitimately really are if you legitimately really are actively going out there and doing what you know that you have to do to crush it, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've exhausted my market. I need to attract interested people now because I've approached everybody that is on my list. The problem with network marketing that I see in so many teams, and I also train other teams and other companies, this is the problem, and don't make this yours, and help your team to also not make it theirs. The thing that stalls people's success is there's people sitting in front of you right now, and you're worried about going out there and getting people to reach out to you. And it's like, no, like there's people in front of us right now, like work those people. And then on the side, also be doing your content to attract people to you. And I'll talk about that in a minute, because that's a bigger part of your business, but you need to create the foundation. You need the success story, and the people right now that you have that are in front of us, we need to do those exposures. So for me, that's exactly what I did. I mean, heck, I went over and knocked on my neighbor's door, and she ended up being one of my biggest business builders. In fact, she's still one of my biggest volume legs in Modere. And I just went up to her and I found a reason why I could probably connect the dots in conversation. And she was an ex-fitness pro. And I know we have fitness pros that are in Modere. We got sports stuff, right? It's in Modere. And I was a really good friend with her. And I also said to myself, it would be really cool if we could work together. Like, that'd just be fun. Like, why not work with your friends and make money? Like, that's cool. Go to the like conferences together, get to travel together, go on the escape trips together. Like, that's just fun. And so I went and I literally knocked on her door and I said, hey, Lauren, I have something that crossed my desk. I don't know if you would be interested or not, but here's why I think that you would be. I think it's an incredible opportunity. I'm super pumped about it. I'm taking this thing to the moon and back. And I would love the opportunity to share with you what's got me so excited. I think it would be great, but that's for you to decide. How soon can you carve out 15, 20 minutes? And you can give me your time. I can show you what's going on. And she was like, all right. So she came in, and she was probably the hardest recruit I had ever had in my entire life, but it was one of the most profitable ones. And when I say hard, it was because she was very, 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 very analytical. One of her sons, when he was an infant, was diagnosed with cancer. So and he's fine. He's in remission. He's great now. But when they bring any products into their home, they are extremely cautious with what ingredients and toxins, if no toxins or anything in the home. So she actually was on the phone with Modere Scientific Advisory Board. She was like talking to corporate. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was almost at the point where I was like, Lauren, this probably isn't for you. Like, cause she was really analytical with all of the things, but it was cool because I guess she was trying to figure out like, how can I do this? So she was taking the steps to try to make it happen, which was cool. And she came on and she built one of our largest organizations and teams. So it ended up being really well, it paid off really well. And we had a ton of fun building together. We have a ton of fun. So the thing is that I wasn't waiting for people to come to me. I actually wasn't posting anything on my social media except for my launch videos. So I did launch videos, but I focused them on the business side because I wanted to be duplicatable. I wanted people to see like, okay, do what Tanya does, not just what she says that she does or tells me to do. You know, she's actually walking the walk. So I literally went through and I was like, who do I want to work with? Who do I think would find value in this? And I was doing active reach outs until I hit elite. But on the side of that, I would do like a post every other day that would be, you know, a curiosity post of some sort. And those people that were commenting or liking on those posts, I put them on my spreadsheet. And then they would be in my little 30-minute stint. I would reach out and I'd be like, you know, I would say, you know, hey, Tamika, I saw that you like this post that I posted about this. Just curious, like, what did you like best about it? You know, I just start these conversations and see where they went. The thing is that I had this conversation with a gal in one of our elite chats the other day. And there sometimes is disconnect in what we are posting on social, because we think we just need to post things that are getting exposure for the products. And if you can find your niche, like, who are you showing up to serve? Like, what is that group of people, or what is that person specifically that you are called to show up and serve? Then what you do is you think about all the information or content, education, entertainment, whatever you can, you're going to post that helps or inspires or gives value to that individual, that group of people, that niche. And when you can do that, you're then not having to post all the time about just like Modere stuff, buy my stuff, because that just gets tuned out after a while. Some of it's really exciting, but you want to build like your brand, because when you build your brand, like, you're there forever. Like, you're going to be there forever. And so what you want to think about is, okay, if I'm going to be obligated as a social marketer, and I've got to post every day something in hopes to attract people to me that are perfect potential business partners or buyers of Modere, what does that person look like? And what is the type of content that I enjoy posting more about? And so for me, and I'll just share with you mine, like, I am a super geek when it comes to like, entrepreneurship and freedom. Like, that is something that is so dang passionate to me, is entrepreneurship, being your own boss, controlling your own finances, controlling your own freedom, being able to show up as a mom or dad or whatever, like in such a big way, right? And not having like this box that you're stuck in, or you feel like you have to be stuck in, or saying like, I can't afford it, or I dislike that so much. And I'm so passionate about freedom and entrepreneurship and taking things into your own hand. So everything that I post really has to do about, now it's building a business, being your own entrepreneur, freedom, lifestyle, being able to call your own shots. That's mine. It doesn't have to be yours. It could be very different. And, Tamika, maybe you can share yours as well, so people can kind of get an idea. But then everything that you post is related to serving that audience or that message. And you can pepper in, like, it's the 80-20 rule, like 20% of the time you're going to post stuff that is related to Modere. 80% of the time it's value for your audience. And so so here's the connect the dots, right? So people are like, well, how do you promote health and wellness products then if your audience is entrepreneurs or business owners? Well, what I think about is, okay, well, let's take our Go energy drinks, for example. I love our Go energy drinks. They're awesome. And so I would say, hey, as an entrepreneur, you need energy throughout the day to feel good, get up and go, like crush your day, accomplish everything, or whatever. And so then I could have like a product talk about the Go energy drinks, and I could relate it to life of an entrepreneur, life of a busy business, overworked, busy business owner, right? So you guys can do the same in any niche. With Tamika's is mom's getting healthy, right? Like she said in the chat. So how would she relate the Go energy drink to a mom? Well, hey, like, you have 5 million things going on in your day, and you need to feel and look your best. You need to feel your best, and you need to be able to like get out through your day without a crash, without a burn. And here's one of the ways that I do this, and it's amazing, and you should give it a try too, use my shopping link. So you need to be able to relate what it is that you're talking to. And we call this in marketing, talking with your audience, not at your audience. So instead of saying like, this is amazing and you should buy this, it's like, this is amazing, and here's why you might find value in this. And then relate the why you might find value in this to that niche of individual that you understand. Okay, what do moms go through? Why would they might really find a liking to that? What are busy business owners going through, or entrepreneurs? Why would they might find a liking to that? Even with Tamika, there's lots of product things that she can talk about. She can also talk about the business. It's like, hey, are you a mom that wants to stay at home, right? But you also know that you want to bring in an income and you want to equally support the household and you want to have that shameless shoe fund or whatever the case may be. So, hey, here's a way that I can help you too, right? So there's so many different things you can talk about when you know your niche and what you're showing up for. And yes, we should be posting every day to give value and attract our tribe, which we do. But we also have to make sure that we're not just sitting around for those people to reach out to us. Like, we're actively pursuing conversations. And every extremely successful network marketer is going to say, like, yes, I actively pursue and engage and start conversations. And then anything else that just comes my way, that's extra cherry on top, right? Does that help everybody a little bit? Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah. And working like that, and I still do it today, you guys. I mean, so many years in, I'm so busy, like everyone's busy. We all have so many things going on, right? We all have crazy busy lives these days. It's insane. I have to still keep my conversations on a sheet, like who I've talked to, when I talked to them last, what was that conversation about, and where they are at in the process. And when I'm having conversations with people, they're very intentional to the money-making activity. And the money-making activities in your business, and coming into summer, if we were to only focus on just a few of these, like, what do we focus on that really matters? Like, what are the, have you guys ever heard of the Pareto's principle? But basically it's the same thing, the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your income is generated typically by 20% of your efforts. So if we can figure out what are those efforts that are actually contributing to the majority of our income, and we cut out all the rest and we just focus on those 20% of efforts, these are, we call money-making activities in network marketing, right? If we just focus there, then you will have magical results on the back end. Like, you'll be so impressed with the amount of time that you can compress to get the result, because you're focusing just in the right areas and not focusing in the wrong areas of business, right? And so I would feel like if somebody was working with me and they were kind of newish or whatever, and they would say, okay, Tanya, I'm getting ready to do a Facebook Live for, to get prospects, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I love that strategy. Have we reached out and done active reach outs of like maybe 2 to 5 people that day? Like, depending on what their goals are. If they share with me that they have this goal, we're going to match the activity with the goal. But if they are like, I'm going to do a Facebook Live, I'd be like, okay, did you do your active reach outs yet? And I get the active reach outs done first. And then we do the passive reach outs, secondarily. So we don't do passive reach outs, which passive reach outs are posts that you're doing, or just outward facing marketing in hopes that that's going to attract people, attraction marketing, essentially. That would be passive marketing. And the passive marketing over time, if you do it long enough and you're consistent with it, definitely can take over the active, and it does. But we have to make sure, if we're not at that income level that we want, or that freedom level that we want yet, what we need to do is we still need to do those active reach outs. And those active reach outs could even be from our passive efforts, because if you're reaching out to people that are leaving comments on your passive marketing, so your posts, your Facebook Lives, whatever it is that you're doing, then that would be, those two marketing efforts working together. But the active reach outs are what most people, we fear those a little bit. We're like, we just want people to come to us and tell us that they want to throw money at us and credit cards. Like that would be so fun. And, that happens, but it's not the thing that happens overnight like that. So what we need to do is we need to have something in place that is, creating the results that we're looking for until the passive kicks in. And the longer you do it, the more consistent that you're with it, of course, then your passive will take over your active. But I wouldn't go into passive strategy activity for the day unless the active is already knocked out and done. And I only had an hour a day to build Modere in the beginning. And so I said to myself, well, I need to do and sometimes I didn't have enough time to even do the passive. I was like, we can only do an active, but I'm just doing those exposures. I'm doing those reach outs. And Tamika, the answer to your question, an exposure is me putting somebody in the group and getting exposed to the information. That would be an exposure to me. So I'd start the conversation with intent to see if they're open. They're open. We put them in the group. That would be checked as an exposure for me that day. And then we just follow up from there because that's the only thing that we can control. We can't control if somebody watches the information or not. We can't control if somebody, signs up or not. We can't control, all those factors that we can't control. But sometimes we worry about the things that we can't control. We can only worry about the things that we can control, right? It's valuable so far, a little bit. Yeah. You guys have such an incredible leader and team. And I'm sure Tamika's, made herself available. But also too, I'm extending the invite. If you guys have any chats that you want to put me in or any 3-ways. This was funny because when Tamika originally enrolled with me, my Facebook Messenger was, it was a nightmare. It was just so many people messaging that I actually just, I blacked out on Facebook. I was like, I can't do this. There's too many people in my messages. This is too overwhelming. So I was on a plane traveling back from, I don't know, I think Mexico or something. And I sat there on the plane and went through all of my messages on Messenger and I got caught up. I'm like one of those super OCD people that my email inbox has to be cleared. Like it has to be cleared. I can't have anything. I see Ricky, my husband's email thing, and like on his phone, it's like 10,300 or something. I'm like, oh my God, having heart palpitations, like get rid of those. But mine's like 3, 2. So I feel like you just, if somebody takes the time to reach out to you, I feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get back with them because they've invested the time with you. And I just have this like personal moral connection. I don't know. So mine was so overwhelming that I literally just stepped away from it. I was like, no more, I can't even do it. So I cleared it all out. So now I'm back on track. So I have time. I can see the chats. I literally had my team like texting me. They were like, hey, I put you in a chat. And I'm like, I can't find the chat. I don't know where it is. Quality problems. But I say that to say that we're more organized than we ever have been now. And if you guys want to lean on Tamika, great. If you want to lean on me, if you want to lean on John, like even Michelle Barnes, like we have the best, most accessible leadership team than I think you'll find anywhere else. So, and Stacy, yes, Stacy Hall too. So such a great team that everybody can lean on and, just try it, like humble yourself to the process that everybody is shouting from the rooftops. Even if you don't have the most confidence on it right now, or maybe you don't have the most conviction that it works like me, because I can truly tell you from experience of just doing it and humbling myself to the process, really some magical things have happened. And Modere is an incredible company. I know the corporate team personally, and it's such a great team. It's such a great company to be around. So
This was so
Nikki
good.
took a lot of good notes. Good.
I think Sophie had a quick question and then we'll, wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Sophie,
My-
oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My question is, what do you suggest for a person who is not really signing anyone? I've been with Modere for almost, what's today, the 4th? In a couple of days, it will be a year.
Okay.
And I'm not really
Congratulations.
signing in. Thank you. I'm not really signing anyone. I'm doing the things, being on the team calls, the Zooms and everything, and it's just not happening. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I've gotten Tamika's thoughts, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
How many exposures are you doing a day of either product exposure or business exposure? Doesn't matter.
Not many, not many. Most of the times I post about motivational stuff, and like in the morning, it's always about a motivational stuff. And then in the afternoon, if I can remember, I post, I can't even think of what I post, but it's not really product or business related.
Cool. So Stacy Hall, and I'm glad that you brought up Stacy. So Stacy Hall, I personally enrolled. She was one of my very first personals. I knew I wanted to work with her. I'd known her for a really long time. And Stacy, when she came over to Modere, never really had any network marketing success and had been in network marketing for years. And there was just something with Stacy too, wasn't clicking. She was trying, she was doing all the posting as well. And even when I enrolled her here in Modere, for the first few years, I really didn't know if she was going to do anything. But same thing, she was coming to all the trainings, she was doing all the conferences. She was really in the deal. Like she was super committed. And I saw that ambition and I saw that, I just saw that effort and I was like, man, like, and I'd always love on her. And I'm like, hey, Stacy, this going on. And, we always want to provide that environment for somebody, whether they're monetarily doing anything or not, right? Like we're always going to have that environment here at Modere. That's what I love about it. And no one's going to be like, what, you aren't doing anything? Get out of here. Like that'll never happen. Like we just love everybody that's here no matter what. And with Stacy, and if you have the opportunity to have her on a call, she can share this story. But one day, she just grabbed onto this clarity and she started posting and then she started enrolling. And then I asked her, I was like, Stacy, what's up? What changed? Right. And she's like, I have this clarity. And I'm like, well, what's the clarity? And she said, well, I know that I know what I want to show up and I'm showing up and serving and giving value. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, look, I've invested so much time and money in conferences and coaching and marketing training and all that. She's like, it's time now I just share the things that I'm learning and help people with value. And she's like, it's also time that I reach out to people that I want to work with. Because she wasn't really reaching out actively either. It was just posting, and some of the posting it was random posting. I would say like it, sometimes it would be over here. It wasn't really constructed to serve a specific niche of tribe, like a specific person. And if you really show up and dig in and give really good value and you're consistent with that, but then you're also doing your active reach outs, you can't fail. Like we just don't know when the success is just going to be like, bam, there it is, but you can't fail. There's no way you can fail if you're doing the activity. It'll come. Like success will come with this goes for network marketing, but it goes for anything that you do in life in general. Working out, whatever. It's like you're consistent every day. Day one might suck, day two, day three, but bam, it'll happen. So what I would do if I was you is I would, make the goal, like here's where I want to go. And then based on you making that goal, you have to match the activity to that goal. So if you want to hit, some people come up to me like, Tanya, I want to make, $5,000 a month. And I was like, okay, great. I said, how much time are you willing to put into this? Right. And they're like, well, I have like 2.5 minutes per day. And I'm like, all right, well, how much do you make in your job right now? And they're like, well, I make about, whatever, $50,000 a year in my job. And I was like, how many hours do you work at your job? And they're like, 40 hours a week. And I'm like, okay, we readjust this. We got to align the activity with the goal. But what I would do is I would do active reach outs, and that would be my sole focus for you. Active reach outs, meaning you're actively reaching out to people, asking if they're open to see the product, open to see. I mean, we right now have got the 5-day drop, which is insane, right? Viral campaign. There's no excuses to just get an exposure on that. And then I would track how many people you're reaching out to, how many people are you able to get an exposure with, and then how many people you're signing. It could be product, business, doesn't matter, or both, mixture of both, doesn't matter. Then what you need to do is once you have those numbers tracked for 2 weeks, you need to get up with your leadership and share those numbers with them. Because if anyone wants to work with me or they're struggling, the first thing that I ask is how many reach outs have you done? How many exposures have you done? And what have the results been up to that point? Because then if those numbers don't lie, I'm a total numbers finance geek person, but numbers won't lie, and what you aren't measuring, you can't track. So you have to measure. And this is what I did in the beginning of my network marketing career to find out what I was good at and what I needed help with. Because there were some things that I was really good at. I could start conversations really well. But when I looked at how many people I was doing exposures with, and then how many people were actually signing up, my numbers were really low. And then I realized just by looking at that, okay, I need to pay attention and focus on closing. Because apparently I'm not good at closing. So there's something that I'm doing that's not clicking. I need to figure out what that is. So I talked with my leadership and I said, look, and they said, well, what are you saying? And we would do a little bit of a deep dive. And I was like, well, I would say this. And they were like, would you consider trying this? And I was like, sure, I'm coachable. I'll try anything. And then I would try something else. And then we track the numbers again and see if that made an improvement. So again, everybody, we should be tracking how many reach outs. When a reach out specifically is you're saying, hey, Tamika, I found this really, really great product. I found this really great opportunity across my desk. I think you really find value in it. Here's why I think you'd find value in it. How soon do you think you can give me 15, 20 minutes so I can share this with you? I think you're really going to love it. That would be what I would consider an intentional reach out. And you can check off that as a reach out for the day. Then you want to track how many people you did an exposure with. So the exposure would be however you're sharing the information with them, whether you're putting them into a group, if you're sharing the flip book, whatever, right? So the exposure is the information being in front of somebody. So I would track how many times that you did that. And then from those, you want to track, did you get a customer or did you get a social marketer? And you may want to even track why or why not, because some people are going to be giving you some feedback on why or why not, just not into it. I don't have the time for it. There's all sorts of objections that people give or excuses or whatever, right? So then when you're tracking that, you can go to your leadership, and now your leadership can say, okay, these are the numbers. This is where we need to tweak. Now, here's the funny thing. This is the funny thing. And this is going to be happening in all y'all's teams as well. Sometimes people will say, oh, Tanya, man, it's just not a good week. And it's not clicking. It's not, working, right? And I'll say, okay, let's look at your numbers. How many reach outs? Well, I didn't have any reach outs. And I'm like, so if we don't have reach outs, I don't know what bridge we need to fly over to get to the signups, right? to get the signups, to get the results, to make the sales, we need to do the reach outs. It starts with the reach outs, right? It starts with those intentional conversations to see if they're open. And it's funny because life's just so busy, you guys, and just give yourself grace because you deserve it. But sometimes we're thinking about like building the business like all the time, all the day. And we think that everything that we're doing is building the business. And then we put our head down at night and we go to sleep and we're like, man, that was such a busy day. That was so exhausting. And you're like, but man, I didn't make any money or I didn't make any sales today. But then we got to go, okay, well, what are we doing? Like, what are those actual things that we are doing? I had a coach, and the very first thing when I hired this coach, and this coach was to help me with my internal processes and time management. So I hired this coach to help me. And one of the very first things that he did, this is powerful. We're actually getting ready to do it again in the business because I'm hitting a little bit of roadblocks. They happen to everybody. And I'm hitting a little bit of a stall. So we're doing this again. What it is called a time audit. So it's the very first thing that he got me to do. He gets everyone to do in the group coaching program is this time audit. And this time audit royally sucks. Okay. I'm just going to tell you, it's the worst thing you'll probably ever do, but it is also the most powerful thing that you'll ever do. For 2 weeks, we had to track our time every 15 minutes, what we were doing. So we'd have a timer that went off on our phone. And every 15 minutes, we had to put down in this little time tracker what we did in the last 15 minutes. And then what we did after that week was over, we had to do this for 2 weeks, but basically after 2 weeks, we looked at this. Now, this was everything from the minute we woke up to the minute we went to sleep. This is why it sucks so bad. So we'd even track like walk the dog. Like I'd be like, I'm walking Loya for the last 30 minutes, eating dinner, doing and every single business activity or whatever it might be, every 15-minute increment, we put down what we did in the last 15 minutes. Then what we did is we looked at that time tracker sheet at the end of 2 weeks, and each category of thing each thing got a category. And so basically what it did, essentially a 30,000 foot view, is we could see how many money making, like actual real things, that 80-20 rule, you guys, those 20% of things, how much time in those 2 weeks we were actually spending on those. And it is a huge self-awareness activity that you'll ever do, because even some of the most top level people, very successful business, whatever, I'll look at that and be like, oh my gosh, I am spending time in areas I should not be spending time in. Like it's a huge self-reflection moment, but it's actual tangible tracking. It's something that you can see. It's not like just all up here in the head. It's out and you can see it. And now we can hold ourselves accountable for the things that we're doing right in the right time and the things that maybe we aren't doing so right in the wrong time. And then we can, guess what, recalibrate. Because every single moment in time, like every single moment of your day, Sophie, we can recalibrate and we can start new and we can relaunch. And there's nothing that you should be beating yourself up about being here a year and not having those results. Because guess what? Tomorrow is a brand new day. And guess what? You can wake up and be like, I am totally going to crush it today. And my goal, hey, I'm going to be easy on myself because it's only day 1, 2 reach outs today. Not going to bed until I get those 2 reach outs. That's easy. And guess what? We feel so accomplished when we check that off and we're like, yeah, I freaking crushed it today. I got those 2 reach outs. And we'll be high-fiving. And
Thank you.
Those reach outs, my pleasure. Those reach outs are going to equal the byproduct of those equal major results. And if they don't, guess what? We just say, well, how are you reaching out? And then we know how to coach you on how you're reaching out. So anyways, wow, Tamika got some energy out of me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. That's impressive.
Oh my gosh. I am so thankful. So thankful for you. And I didn't even realize that the weekends were your weekend off. So thank you for just saying yes and being willing to do this.
No
I really appreciate your friendship, your leadership, and just like being someone that we can honestly trust. Like, I feel like that's hard in this world nowadays. So thank you so much. And, how do you want people to connect with you? I know that you have your podcast and you have your YouTube page. And when you talked about Stacey having that clarity, I will tell you that you helped me get that clarity 3 years into my network marketing business when I was online searching for it, And so I remember that moment of finding it. And so if you haven't found it yet, it will come when it comes, but you also got to follow the right people. And Tanya is definitely one of them. So how do you want people to get in your group, get on your page?
Facebook's good anywhere, really. Like wherever you guys love to hang out, you just go there and I'll be there. Except for I'm not on TikTok. I'm sorry. Yet.
So homework assignment, you guys, get on YouTube, get on Facebook, just search her name, join your groups, because she's always every single week, get on her email list. Okay. That's how I started my email list, is get on there and get that value. Cause like she said, she's helping thousands and thousands of people every single week that are in business, who are successful, who aren't successful. And if you follow her tips and advice, you're gonna find it too. So thank you guys, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Tanya, and we'll see you later.
Bye, you guys. Thanks for having me. Crush your week. Ciao for now. Bye, Tamika. You're amazing.